Alright, Shalom Akyam. First and foremost, I'd like to say Barakafar, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakwah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GreatMillStone, and also salutations to all of the sincere Akyam worldwide, pushing this truth and sincerity. In this particular sit down, I'm just going to re-emphasize the fact that judgment will eventually come. Because you see, this society that we live in, America, you know, the US, the UK and its allies, man, you know, was established of total wickedness, the bloodshed of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, better known as the children of Israel. Our people went through hell and still go through the utmost hell at the hands of this damn devil, just so that his establishment, this wicked ass society, could be built up. And now you best believe that Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai has a problem with that, man, and the Most High is going to restore Israel back into true fruition. But before that happens, this man's going to have to go down in blood. You see, the Lord is going to destroy Esau for the wickedness that he's wrought against our people, man. It's the will of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. I'm going to hopefully make this an edifying video, not too long. Just going to play a bit of this video that suffices and bring out some scriptures. Esau built the city up on blood. And ultimately speaking, man, a city built on blood cannot stand, man, and the land cannot be cleansed but by the blood of him that shed it. But without further ado, I'm going to get into the video, and I hope brothers are edified, man, by this. Let's go.
So the slave-based economy in the South is sometimes characterized as having been separate from the market revolution, but that's not really the case. Without Southern cotton, the North wouldn't have been able to industrialize, at least not as quickly, because cotton textiles were one of the first industrially produced products and the most important commodity in world trade by the 19th century. And 3/4 of the world's cotton came from the American South. And speaking of cotton, why has no one mentioned to me that my collar has been half popped this entire episode, like I'm trying to recreate the flying nun's hat? And although there were increasingly fewer slaves in the North as northern states outlawed slavery, cotton shipments overseas made northern merchants rich, northern bankers financed the purchase of land for plantations, northern insurance companies insured slaves who were, after all, considered property and very valuable property. And in addition to turning cotton into cloth for sale overseas, northern manufacturers sold cloth back to the South, where it was used to clothe the very slaves who had cultivated it. But certainly the most prominent effects of the slave-based economy were seen in the South. The profitability of slave-based agriculture, especially king cotton, meant that the South would remain largely agricultural and rural. Slave states were home to a few cities like St. Louis and Baltimore, but with the exception of New Orleans, almost all southern urbanization took place in the upper South, further away from the large cotton plantations. And slave-based agriculture was so profitable that it siphoned money away from other economic endeavors. Like, there was very little industry in the South. It produced only 10% of the nation's manufactured goods, and as most of the capital was being plowed into the purchase of slaves, there was very little room for technological innovation, like, for instance, railroads. This lack of industry and railroads would eventually make the South suck at the Civil War, thankfully. In short, slavery dominated the South, shaping it both economically and culturally, and slavery wasn't a minor aspect of American society. By 1860, there were 4 million slaves in the U.S., and in the South, they made up 1/3 of the total population. Although in the popular imagination, most plantations were these sprawling affairs with hundreds of slaves, in reality, the majority of slaveholders owned 5 or fewer slaves. And of course, most white people in the South owned no slaves at all, although if they could afford to, they would sometimes rent slaves to help with their work. These were the so-called yeoman farmers who lived self-sufficiently, raised their own food, and purchased very little in the market economy. They worked the poorest land, and as a result, were mostly pretty poor themselves. But even they largely supported slavery, partly perhaps for aspirational reasons, and partly because the racism inherent to the system gave even the poorest whites legal and social status. And Southern intellectuals worked hard to encourage these ideas of white solidarity and to make the case for slavery. Many of the founders, a bunch of whom you'll remember held slaves, saw slavery as a necessary evil. Jefferson once wrote, quote, "As it is, we have the wolf by the ear, and we can neither hold him nor safely let him go. Justice is in one scale and self-preservation in the other." The belief that justice and self-preservation couldn't sit on the same side of the scale was really opposed to the American idea, and in the end, it would make the Civil War inevitable. But as slavery became became more entrenched and as ideas of liberty and political equality were embraced by more people, some Southerners began to make the case that slavery wasn't just a necessary evil. They argued, for instance, that slaves benefited from slavery. Because, you know, their masters fed them and clothed them and took care of them in their old age. You still hear this argument today, astonishingly. In fact, you'll probably see asshats in the comments saying that. I will remind you, it's not cursing if you are referring to an actual ass. This paternalism allowed masters to see themselves as benevolent and to contrast their family-oriented slavery with the cold, mercenary capitalism of the free labor North. So yeah, in the face of rising criticism of slavery, some Southerners began to argue that the institution was actually good for the social order. One of the best-known proponents of this view was John C. Calhoun, who in 1837 said this in a speech on the Senate floor: "I hold that in the present state of civilization, where two races of different origin and distinguished by color and other physical differences, as well as intellectual, are brought together, the relation now existing in the slaveholding states between the two is, instead of an evil, a good, a positive good." Now, of course, John C. Calhoun.
That's all I need to play on that. That's all I need to play on that. Basically, Esau looked upon it like he was doing Jake a favor. He looked upon it like he was civilizing Jake. He took our true understanding. You know, the Bible tells you in Jeremiah the 17th chapter, around about the 9th verse, that we would discontinue from our heritage. He took the truth of the scriptures and he twisted it against Jake and used it to try and brainwash us into believing that he was benevolent and that we needed to worship him. He took our nationality, he took our identity, he stripped us of everything, man. And you think that this damn devil ain't gonna pay, man? This devil is going to die, man, by the hands of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. There ain't gonna be one Edomite left, and I'm happy about that. The Most High is gonna come back and complete a mass genocide. You damn devils out here, man, like to always pretend that you ain't wicked. You like to try and come across like you're the most harmless, peaceful people upon the planet Earth ever. Let's not forget who first developed and used the atomic bomb, man. Lest we forget him, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, man. You know, this man is the damn devil. All of the nations know it, man. Just the bonehead 2/3 are still struggling to grasp it, but some of them are finally starting to see this man is the devil. And pursuant to Isaiah, the 14th chapter, the Most High is going to bring him and his elites down, man. The elites are going to be mocked. And Esau is going to be known for the wicked base man that he is. I'm going to go into some scriptures, man. Fuck these damn devils. I can't wait till Yahweh Shai take them down. I'm going to start from Numbers 35 and 33. Straight to the point. "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are." This was a law unto the Israelites, but it applies to the situation we're in right now. It says, "For blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." Now, without a shadow of a doubt, man, we know who shed that innocent blood, man. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man in layman's terms, that damn fucking devil, man. He shed innocent blood. He shed Israelite blood. He shed the blood of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai's people. And for that, guess what, man? Justice has to be paid, man. This man has to die. The scripture says in Genesis 9 and 6, "Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of the Most High made he man." Now, guess what, man? Millions and millions of our people, man, were slaughtered. You know, not just the so-called Negroes, but the Native Americans also. There's rumors, you know, there's so many people that died. There's all kind of accounts. Some accounts tell you that 75+ million Negroes died, including those that died in America. You know, in the South Americas and on the islands also. Even on the voyages, they told you about 40 million natives died. Some say higher, some say slightly lower. Hey, man, there was a mass genocide of our people, and you think Esau ain't gonna pay for that, man? You really think Esau ain't gonna pay for? Oh my God, yo, this damn devil is going to get it, man. I can't wait till the day Yahweh Shai open up the floodgates. Really and truly, man. It says, "Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of the Most High made he man." Hey, the righteous and innocent blood still cries out unto the Lord, because you see, Esau meaning Ashashwa, or Edom meaning red, is nothing more than the reincarnation of Cain, man. Cain, the word Cain meaning weapon, you know, and this damn devil is a fucking walking weapon, man. He is literally the personification of death, man, the wicked, man, of the Bible, like it says in Malachi, the 1st chapter and the 4th verse. He cometh not but for to steal, kill, and destroy. John 10:10. Everything that this damn devil sets his hand forth to do, he destroys, man. He's destroyed the ecosystem, the water, the minds of the people, the animals, everything, man. He's destroyed the planet Earth, man. That's why the missiles are needed to come back and rejuvenate everything. Everything's going to be better without this damn devil. We're going to have a true Hakuna Matata without this damn devil, man. Because, yes, slavery is actually, for lack of better terms, legal, so to speak, according to the Bible, but not what Esau done, because what Esau done wasn't slavery, you know. That shit there, he dehumanized Jake. He took the wickedness and he took it to a whole nother level, man. He took the punishment that he was supposed to give us and he went far with it. That's why Yahweh Shai is going to destroy him, because ultimately speaking, this was all prophecy. It was going to happen, man. The Most High put it in Esau's heart to go so hard on Jake that ultimately speaking, the Most High has got further justification to destroy him, man. Esau, you played yourself, man. You thought that you was just going to put us into slavery and that was going to be it. Hey, man, was there not a Native American king that questioned one of the Edomites that slayed him, and he said, yo, roughly paraphrasing, he said, do you really think you not that you'll pay back for, you know, what you've done unto my people, man, in another lifetime, man? Hey, man, because, you know, back in the day, our people were a lot more spiritual, man. They knew about the concepts of the Bible, like the reincarnation and, you know, the fact that you come back in the 3rd and 4th generation to relive your judgment, you know. Ultimately speaking, man, you Edomites are not fucking gonna get away with it, man. Yahweh Shai gonna destroy every single last Edomite, man, including you black Edomites on this side, because you gonna go back to your lacking of pigmentation in the kingdom, man. I'm going to read Revelations 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Straight and to the point, meaning that this place is going to get decimated. You see, we're going to take captives those whose captives we were. Yeah, 1 second. We're going to put you Edomites, yeah, in captivity, man. We're going to totally decimate you. We're going to destroy you. All for the sins of your forefathers. That judgment is really going to come down heavy. I'm going to read this, Isaiah 14:2. And the people shall take them, saying that the children of Israel are going to take them, yeah, grab them up and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Yeah, meaning that we're gonna be using your women as fuck toys, man. And then the ugly ones, we just gonna throw them out there in the field to die, picking cotton for us. That's the judgment, man. That's the judgment, man. Heavy judgment, death. Yeah, because we need your blood, Esau. Blood defileth the land, man, and the land cannot be cleansed by the blood of him that shed it. It says, shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This is the prophecy of Yahweh Shai, and we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. So guess what, man? Esau, for that wickedness, man, you gonna pay. Talking about it's a fucking good thing that Jake went into slavery. We only went into slavery because of the fact that we went against the laws of the Lord, man. And ultimately, yes, it was ordained by Yahweh Shai, but it's that because the Lord deemed it so, that's why you got the power over us. This damn devil thinks that it's of his own doing. Yahweh Shai gonna make you small among the heathen, man. You gonna live Obadiah and live in color, man. You literally gonna feel them flames around you like a pressure cooker. Get ready, Esau, man, because you gonna feel the nukes on this side, primarily in America and in your major cities, and then you gonna get bonfired again after 1,000 years of slavery, you fucking damn devil. Yeah, and we gonna get all of you Edomites, man, talking about, but it wasn't me, it's all my forefathers. Listen, this whole society is based off slavery. So like, yo, you Edomites are born with long money, man, from birth, off the back of slavery. That's why, you know, in your families, you can buy a little Bethany and Mercedes Benz for her 21st birthday or a Range Rover. What nigga you know doing that? Whenever you Edomites, and I'm going to use the London examples, you've got places like M&S, Marks and Spencer's, the posh, you know, restaurants. I mean, it's like you're the posh you know, the posh shopping locations for food. You ain't seen no Jake up in there. Jake are looking for a Asda or a Lidl or, you know, a Poundland or some shit. You know, whenever you build up these establishments, these Asdas and these Costas, you're trying to move Jake out, man. You're trying to throw Edomites up in there and gentrify the area. Ultimately speaking, number one, you people out here are born with a silver spoon. All of these establishments, whether it be your HSBCs or your Barclays banks, Barclays Bank bought out slavery banks, man. Banks that profited off slavery were bought out by Barclays Bank, and they used that to grow their revenue, man. HSBC was funded off fucking opium, yeah? Come on, man. This place is wicked as hell. You got Elephant and Castle. Elephant and Castle was named after a slave company, man, called the Elephant and Castle, that had Jake dying for elephant ivory, man, fighting elephants to the death just so that you Edomites could have ivory. Damn devils, man. You gonna get it. Yahweh Shai gonna destroy you. You think you ain't gonna pay for that, man? And then furthermore, no, just over you having a silver spoon in your mouth, and, you know, a step over Jake in this society, because ultimately speaking, jobs are decided based on race. That's why you got a tick. That's why everything comes with a tick box, man. So-called fucking African American, so-called white this, so-called white British, so-called black British. Why does that even matter? Because at the end of the day, race counts, man. And you are your forefathers coming back also. Lest we forget that. There's no new thing under the sun, man. That's why in Revelations 1:7 it says, behold, he cometh with clouds, all eyes shall see him, including them that pierced him. There ain't no 2,000-year-old man walking around. Those men came back in the fucking reincarnation, man. And they gonna get destroyed. They gonna get that knowledge back of who they were. You know, and that's the only thing. It's just that in this society, people just don't know who they were or what they were doing, man, or what they did. But guess what? Yahweh Shai is going to reignite your memory, man. Esau, you gonna pay. You really gonna pay, man. I got this. Isaiah chapter 14 verse 21, it says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. That also goes into Malachi, the 1st chapter and the 4th verse, when the Lord said that, ultimately speaking, man, they shall build, but he will throw down. Yahweh Shai is not going to allow you Edomites to rise up again. This is the last straw, man. This is your last stand, so to speak. And you're going to be crippled. You best believe it. The Most High is going to destroy this society, man. Fuck you damn Edomites, man. You've literally built yourself up off our downfall, man. And not only did you punish Jake, man, you went hard. You went hard on Jake. You literally just totally decimated our people. And, man, Yahweh Shai is going to get you, man. And he's going to get the wicked of our people also. The wicked of our people that want to try hand in hand with you, that want to, you know, like have Edomite friends and try and save your ass, man. Hey, ultimately speaking, man, no Edomite is going to make it into the kingdom of heaven. You all going to be destroyed. Proverbs 11:21, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered, man. Hey, Edomites are not going to make it, man. Edomites are going to die, man. Every single one of you Edomites are going to die on this side. Even I mean, I was gonna say even the pretty ones, but there ain't no such thing as a damn pretty Edomite, man. All you are hideous to me, and you all gonna get it, man. You all gonna get it. Psalms 137 verse 8 reads, "O daughter of Babylon." It's that's talking about America, man. Because the word Babylon means confusion. The new Babylon is America. Read Revelations 11:8, man. You know, it's also the personification of this modern day Egypt, man. You know, like I explained many a times, like the apostles have, it carries forth all of the ancient symbolisms and the ways of life of ancient Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, ancient Rome, ancient Greece. This society, and ancient Babylon, of course, this society, spearheaded by America, is the most wicked that's ever existed on the planet Earth, man. That's why the Lord said in Psalms 137:8, verse 8, "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones." You don't want to bring that out in the church, do you? You Edomites are going to get it, man. You Edomites are going down, and there's nothing that you can do about it, man. Nothing at all. Yeah, judgment is going to come, man. Judgment is really going to come. Trust me. And you Edomites are going to feel it. You really are going to feel it, man. Oh, man. I fucking hate you Edomites, man. The time's coming. One of the brothers spoke to me while watching the royal wedding, and I saw it, man. You know, they got Jake all up in there. Esau's looking all hella uncomfortable. And that's how the ancient Roman Empire went down, man. Where you had Esau trying to get up in there, man. You know, getting seats in the Senate. You know, sat next to Jake, intermarried into the families. Well, guess what, man? You know, that royal family is that royal wedding is a sign, man. Because you had all kind of niggas up in there, you know. You had Jake all up in there singing in the choirs. You had the pastor talking about slavery, man. Ultimately speaking, hey, you can see this is nothing but ancient Rome again. And the same thing that happened to ancient Rome before it fell is happening right now, man. Jacob getting all up in there. And ultimately speaking, Esau's society, Esau's hold on the society is really coming down to a low, you know. I'm going to finish this off with this just to emphasize that Esau's coming down, man. Esau's going to be destroyed and our people are going to be reinstated as the true powers. That's going to happen through Yahweh Shem Yahushua when he returns, man, puts his hand to the prig. But Jake is going to rise up, man. The elect and the 144,000 first through Yahweh Shem Yahushua and then the rest. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, and I'm going to start from verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, because that was symbolic of Jacob/Israel pulling Esau's establishment and him down, man. For Esau is the end of the world, meaning the end of an age, aeon, yeah? And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, you know? You ain't even got to break that down. We're going to pull this man out of rulership and we're going to take what's ours, man. The righteous blessings of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We're going to take the earth, because the earth, like Ezra says earlier on in his writings, was created, within his writings, so like he says the earth was created for our sakes, man. Israel is the whole reason that this whole planet exists. Israel is the reason that all of these other nations exist, even Esau, because Esau was made to be the antagonist, man. Israel being the protagonist, the main character, and all of these other nations are side pieces, man. Servants for Israel. Ultimately speaking, without Israel being there would be no need for these other nations. They're nothing but serfs, man. Drops from a bucket, spittle. You know, like Ezra said also. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to bring judgment, man. And not just on Esau, all you other nations, of course, also. But it's just that you're going to get your land back eventually. But Esau, you're going to be totally decimated. T-Man will be destroyed, man. All of the wise men out there. Read Obadiah. 1 chapter long, like, yo, it's deep, man. You know? And one of the most important books out there, because through that, we know that there's no chance for Esau. Yeah? You damn devils are going down. Fuck you and your establishment, man. And your silver spoon. We going to be eating out of... man, things better than emerald and sapphires and rubies. But listen, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Ra'azah, man. Lord willing, soon come, brothers. Real soon come. Shalom, Akim. Stay strong.